Art. Okay. The very top 2.1 is the XLs, one above that. I think there are nitrile XLs.
These are pretty big. It says extra long.
That's fake news, but we can try. They might be a little bit ridiculously tight. I do like those because they're longer. Okay, so I need to pull out that hubcap. Let me figure out how I'm going to do that. Aha.
Oh, I see.
Coming in? Yeah. That is the anti-Oscar door. When he was 2 years old, he would run around the neighborhood, and we had CPS called on us by some busybody, no-good lady. So as a result, I secured all the doors in the house with various methods to keep him from running away. Because he was such a funny little guy.
We cleared out some space.
Excellent. Okay. That did not do it. So what we need to do then is figure out. Oh, can you put the? Let's see. There's a couple of big panels. Can you put those panels against the white tarp?
Yep, right.
Maybe start with the one that's got a metal frame around it. Put that up there, and then after that, do the one that's just regular plastic.
Are these the wheels for the MGB?
No, those are for the Red Jag that's outside, mostly undercover still. The wheels for the MGB are wire wheels. We can take a look at those in a little bit.
Okay. I saw the rims yesterday.
Yeah, those are the.
So, question.
Yes.
So, is it just the cap and there's a nut behind there
Exactly right.
that holds it onto the spindle that this is in the goes into the back side of this?
Exactly right.
Okay. And the threaded bolt that's sticking out of there is welded or threaded through the back side of the cap so that the bolt is sticking out?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, right in one, all the things.
So, do you have, and that's a knuckle of some sort?
I was thinking I'd screw that on and then screw this into it and pull it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thought.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of just became something you could turn with a screwdriver.
Uh-huh.
I just hope it's long enough. What I really need is a coupling nut for
Yeah.
conduit.
Right. That's what I was
I might have one.
headed towards.
I'm going to look and see if I have a coupling nut. If I don't, then I won't. But I think I might have a coupling nut. kind of small. That's what that one is.
I just need a bigger screwdriver.
8.4, just right down there. Should be a wide variety.
Why don't you just come off?
Come on. I think you predicted that that wasn't going to be properly held in. Let's see.
Okay.
Nut.
What did you do with the bolt that you said threaded into this?
That was not long enough. I've got more.
It's plenty long
I also have a slide hammer if need be. Oh, it's Isa.
Hi.
How goes it, Isa?
Well, I think it's okay.
enough. You
You
think?
turned in all your homework?
Uh-huh.
They are getting ready to position the sandblast cabinet. If you'd go out there and work with them.
I will say, typically, if it doesn't turn black and fall off, it'll be okay.
Uh-huh.
It's good advice.
Uh-huh.
Sound reasoning.
Sound. Yes.
Well, that thing's just stupid.
I'm making a guess here, Jake,
What?
because I don't know how that actually works, but I think it's as you surmised.
Well, yeah, maybe not. Because there's no
How many
nut on
threads
here,
did you
so
have on there?
I threaded it on there a little bit. But it's crooked. So I actually kind of like where the bolts were with that thing.
Yeah.
So I think we should put this in the vise down here and grab a hold of this plate and unbolt this guy and stick something in here and
Well, we have to get, there's a central nut in there. We have to get that nut off.
oh, okay.
I'm going to fix this. I didn't realize this wasn't quite done yet. I'm going to take off the end of this thing. Okay, so you screw this on. If you can get it in there, put it on probably more, well, maybe halfway, I guess. Of course, how do you hold it while you turn this? I guess we need to go in there and make sure it doesn't spin while that's being inserted.
Well, it's fine if it does.
Say what, huh?
Is there an acceptable broom?
Broom. Well, there's one right here you could use. There was one right here you could use with the blue tines.
Oh, okay.
I don't quite know where that one went.
Do you guys mean to destroy this piece at some point?
Yeah. Hit it with a hammer.
Please don't hurt yourselves.
Can I use this?
Is that avoiding rotating while you're turning it properly, Jake?
It's good.
Okay.
It is.
Yes.
It is doing my bidding.
Good.
We got one of those tiles up on the side, so and there's plenty of room. If you want to take this.
Yeah. Sounds good. Oh yeah, we got all the hazards. Jake, do you have to work tomorrow?
No.
Awesome. Me neither.
Well, I have to. Between tonight and tomorrow, I have to send out some emails. By the way, the flooring is scheduled, and I'll send an email to Diane as well because I have to. Not that I wouldn't tell you anyway. But the flooring scheduled for the 27th
Of?
June.
Wow. That's
So,
great.
If we can get, well, it's good to have that day because now we can see if we can actually get the contents moved before then.
Yeah.
And if we can't, then we need to know that so that we can move the flooring date forward after that.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Are you having no luck with that setup? We need to make something else. Should be able to come up with some of
So, no, that setup is not working,
Okay.
but I have my own
Okay.
that worked.
Oh, it's done?
Yes.
You rock. So the tricky part of the front suspension, and this is similar to the, remember we worked on Mark's E-Type. We had to set bearing clearances in here with that nut.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same deal.
Understood.
There should be a, what? Wait a second, that's filled with grease?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yes.
I'm thoroughly confused.
Well, I'm not.
That's not a Zerk fitting like it was on Mark's car.
No. You have to pack it and then
So-
put it on there.
That's not great. Where's the Zerk fitting? I wonder if you can't grease the front. Anyway, so now we have to figure out how to get that off, and usually you access the cotter pin through the hole in the side. Well, at least on the E-Type you do. Okay, I can see the cotter pin.
You got the other tile.
Okay, so now it's time to move the blast cabin into position? Or is there something else that remains, do you think?
Yeah.
We're ready to move it in?
Sure. Let's see that.
Okay. Let's see. I'll be back in a moment, Jake. I don't know that I need your help. We will see. Oh, this is,
Mm.
How do they know what's in them? Yeah, I guess you're right. Rats and chemicals. Did you have any luck?
Oh, I would say this one's not about luck.
No.
This one is a good time. It's right there.
Ah.
Yep.
It's not the greatest light. It's not a modern light.
So I think that. What a pair of.
Yep. Variety of them.
Yeah.
Want some with curly cues at the end?
Too big. I
Okay.
need really small.
Okay, how about that style?
Still too big. Tiny on the end.
Tiny on the
Super
end.
tiny
Oh,
on
to
the
get into that thing?
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Ooh. Oh. Oh.
Sometimes what people do is put a hook in there and pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I may be able to supply those guys.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to your parents. Oh, yeah, MREs. Where the heck are those going to go?
Yeah, and these all need to be. We could probably throw all this stuff away if it's expired. Because that one has a 5-year shelf life.
Is it really? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, it's not very long. It's
Um,
not food, not freeze dried. But I can make it swim through.
We should find out. Because I wonder, yeah.
But you can clean some and open it.
Yeah, we should do that.
Just for giggles and stuff.
You're right. Because if it's already
For giggles.
destroyed, then there'll be no point. But if the expiration date is more of a
Yeah,
suggestion.
yeah. And
What do you do
the
right now,
environment
Sid?
is also important of where you want to. You don't want a lot of temperature swing.
Oh, okay.
Or
That makes
humidity.
sense. Okay. Well, but they're totally sealed against humidity, right?
I guess. Unless something is punctured on.
Well, definitely if anything's punctured them, I'm sure they're long, fast,
Yeah.
moldy. Yeah, just stick them up here and check it out. See what you think. That's a great thing to do. There's an inventory on that stuff.
I've never had the military ones. I've only had the Mountain House freeze-dried stuff.
So,
A lot of it is.
oh, what about a straight pick coming from the top? Or is it not rotated in that direction?
Nutrition. This is Mexican-style corn.
It's moving
Okay.
in the right direction.
Oh, this is probably not expired. expiration dates on the military stuff, but we can figure it out.
Okay.
This one is original, but I can read this. This is Mexican style corn.
Doesn't that sound
A
exciting?
force multiplier, apparently. Even though it is not,
From the front and back end.
yeah. Even though it is not even.
Keep these somewhere.
1.1 left.
You head out?
A bit here. My parents are.
A lot of beef ravioli, and
My mom's speaking in riddles. So.
that's always fun.
Do you want patty issue? You want me to get you? I just said, whoever's closest.
Nice.
Did this have a box?
Say what?
Did this have a box?
Yeah, it's immediately in the door over there.
Immediately in.
So I'll open the door and it's on the right hand side.
Tested
right away.
Yeah, like I'm sure people would love to recommend this to eat for a year straight. Yes, especially the stupid powdered egg omelet.
Oh.
That would be amazing.
People don't eat those for a year straight, do they?
That was the
Depends on operation. Like if you're out at a forward operating base, you probably do. If you're in the middle of the mountains in Afghanistan, they probably don't have a chef there.
Very similar.
I've heard a lot of stories where they'll just rip them all open, find the stuff they like, and then just build their own MREs and trade. So,
Oh yeah.
because you can keep them in the individual pouches. They won't last as long,
Mm.
but you can slim it down to just the two things or eat out of the whole thing, and then take that with you into the field instead of
Okay.
the whole mess.
You need a better flashlight, Jake? Is that one annoying you?
What's he doing right now?
Well,
Surgery.
Surgery?
We are doing surgery.
so this guy
Uh-huh.
spins on bearings, and the bearings are released by a central locking nut, which is inside of here.
That was what you were trying to get out, right?
I was trying to get the cap that protects the nut and keeps all the grease in.
Oh, is that the nut in there?
No, that's the cap that protects the nut.
Oh, so it's under.
This is what the cap looks like,
Oh.
and it has
yeah.
grease inside of it.
Oh my god, that's a lot of grease.
Wheel bearings typically have that much or more grease.
They need it.
They do. They get
So
hot.
they don't get stuck up.
They have a hard life.
Yep.
They don't have any oiling system, so whatever's in there is all that there is.
Newer cars have?
Newer cars have what are called sealed bearings, which are what's ouch. This is a sealed bearing.
Oh.
It's like a skateboard bearing.
Yeah, like. Oh yeah, yep, okay. And that's the balls inside, right?
Yep, and it's lubricated inside of that.
I can see it slightly
It looks
shine.
like
Yeah. Yep.
This is a
I've seen it's a real pain.
Oh wow,
To
those
put
are
all,
serious.
to like,
They
stick all
actually
the,
need those.
Stick all the balls in.
Somebody went through and threw away all my spoons, my plastic spoons.
Oh.
that's
Stick
a
with the.
serious spoon right there.
Oh, no, it's a catapult.
Yeah, that's
I guess they have to work well in
yeah,
Arctic temperatures and desert temperatures.
over to 140 degrees.
Wow.
I've heard some great stories coming out of Iraq. How you like to sit on the tarmac at an airport for 5 hours a day. That must be fun.
Okay. I only need a little.
Anyway, so that's what we're doing. Pulling this
Apart.
thing out.
Beef here.
I don't know. A
Are you
beefier
gonna-
puller?
Are you gonna clean off all this?
Both of those are going to be replaced. Everything
Oh.
you see there is replaced. Jake, I have a
Okay.
larger one, but it can only come in from the top.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That'll be okay?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh no.
Have to clean all the bags.
Larger.
Larger one of those.
So they're less flimsy on the tip. It can have a fatter head. It can be more
Okay.
More steel up front.
Okay. The one that I have, which is awesome for that, may not be the right length to get in there, but it's specifically made for
Somewhere
those.
off the bench.
I can probably get in there.
Dad,
Yo,
where do you want to find Emery?
they're probably going to need to go upstairs in the attic once they're sorted. Inventory. What did you learn?
Make sure it gets at
I
least
definitely-
110 in the attic where you're storing them,
Yeah.
because that's going to make it really entertaining.
Yeah, they need to be clean, that's for sure. That's about it.
Okay.
And then we can figure out expiration dates and how to read those. So they can be clean. But I don't think it's super.
Fire up.
It's code. They put a code on the expiration date.
Yeah, it's not even the actual expiration date. It's someone weird.
Maybe spray some PD blaster in there, and then we'll pull that stuff.
It's like an inventory number or something.
Where's the closest?
Closest can is right here.
We're recovering inside.
Or you can ask Jake what his method was, because he was able to get it out.
You got it out?
No, well, Jake got it out right here,
Yeah.
like that. I thought I could screw something on here, but I didn't end up finding my container of
Odd.
That's nice.
nuts that would fit.
You need oil? I mean,
Grease? Yeah, no. I'll pass.
That was the issue.
bolts stuck in there too.
It's a bolt?
Oh, yeah.
Ignore the bolt.
Oh,
So
you know,
take your screwdriver and jam it in here and work this thing back and forth,
Work it, girl. As they
and then stick your hand in there and pull it out.
Oh.
Like that.
Oh,
Paper towels.
Use a paper towel. That way we won't have to throw the rag away.
Oh.
Wow, that was so fast. Great job. That grease is really solidified.
extra.
Now the trick is to get the cotter pin out of there.
Oh, and there's a pin.
There is a pin, and then once you get
It's
that,
folded.
we can unscrew that
My God. They really didn't want these wheels coming out.
for some reason. And that's where the bearing clearance is set. So once we reassemble those things, we'll have to tighten them up a certain amount.
You want to save this? It's
The
like, kind of like
grease?
fudge.
It is kind of like fudge.
But it tastes like it too.
Test it.
Mixed with road grit and road kill.
So maybe what I'll do is get the air supply set up to the sandblaster. If you guys want to work on this.
There's also a bunch of stuff out there that I just have questions about where it goes. Some of the stuff I knew, but
Sure.
there's several things that I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys just use long, you don't use pliers for the cotter pin? Or are you still working on the cotter pin?
I'm still working on the cotter pin because it's a good time.
Oh, you have to
Mm-hmm.
take out. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
little
that's
hole.
the pin?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's a little hole that allows you to do. It's like arthroscopic surgery. You can go in and.
That's not, that wasn't the pin.
Okay.
Both
you can't-
unfold it and then retrieve it. That's the tricky bit.
But, okay. It's kind of like a puzzle.
Yes. You could say that.
Or it totally is a puzzle. So.
Brian, are your parents coming?
That's what I'm wondering.
Not sure.
You're just stuck
I
here
haven't
now.
gotten anything, so
Well, Isabel could drive you home.
they should be able to. She doesn't need to waste gas or anything on me.
Did you pull up the feet of the pin from inside? Or have you done that yet?
The spread out part?
Yeah.
I made them straight, yeah.
Did you use it?
I used a screwdriver, a pair of needle nose pliers,
Oh,
two different size screwdrivers, a couple expletives, some cleaning of the grease around there so I could actually see what was going on, a ball peen hammer.
Have any hoses?
Oh, I see. She's not responding, so I'm assuming she's like racing on her way over here.
Really?
Most likely.
Exciting.
Racing.
Nah, probably not racing though.
Like doing surgery.
It's like operation.
Yeah, it is. Except the board doesn't buzz at you. It means you throw it apart.
Okay. I'm gonna look at the air supply.
It's just recent.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah, that must be good.
Yeah, it's hard to get a grip on
You could do the dentist thing and just spray stuff in there and then empty it out.
There you go.
Suction it out.
Yeah. that might work.
Although I got it up.
Oh, okay.
You can see it right there.
Yeah. I'm trying to try and hold it, but I guess it doesn't do that.
Yeah,
That's
there's
what
one.
it's
That's what you're trying to get out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Otter pin. And it's right
You have the pin out?
there. No, that's what we're working on. Yeah. You need to pull it out through there.
I see it.
We could try it from a different angle.
Oh. I got it.
I did.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh. And actually just.
Do you want a flatter thing to put against it to hammer it?
Yeah, maybe a wider screwdriver would be more beneficial.
Yeah, you like that. Tan or lead. More likely lead.
Does that work?
That's for beating the wheels on and off with.
Oh, it just.
Not that
big
way.
on one.
Okay.
Those are thread nuts. That's how the wheel was held
Engineer something.
So how do you just hit the side?
on. That's a nut in the middle to get the wheel off. You know, like your cars have lug nuts.
Yeah.
You like have 5 of them and they screw on and they hold the wheel on.
Yep.
Like this.
Straighten
It's
down.
got lug nuts.
Yeah, they
What's
go
your
on
ideal
the-
tool?
This has 1 nut.
You know?
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
that's
Nice.
one right here.
That's the
I
nut.
like that.
You
Okay.
want to spray?
And then
What made it change from 1 to 5? Why such a drastic change? It's just like easier because it's like small.
My ideal tool for this would be anything. This whole thing would get tossed.
So in case they-
Yeah.
I mean, we're not using
Yeah.
this anyway, so.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
skip this.
A big
Yeah.
chunk like that. Like, might as
So,
well nice.
I think the problem is that
Is the light helping at all?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Now I can actually.
I think if you were a woman, you'd have no chance of changing that.
Can you hold it straight up?
But at least with these, I mean, 5, they're tight, but they're not as tight as 1 is. 1 has to be super tight.
Yeah. So it's good. You could have like 1
I
or
think
2.
this is the end right there.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
destroy everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's on the same level. See how it's
Well, they
set
so
lower on this
these
end
things are
here.
situated
I
such that
don't.
they
We-
tighten themselves as
Oh,
you
that's
break.
it.
So they not all the time, but as you break, as that thing wiggles around a little bit on there, it tends to tighten itself. The problem with these is they're tighter over time just by a small amount.
So you have to loosen them.
No, once they get tight, they stay tight. As You have to beat the crap out of them, and that's what this hammer is for.
See, oh, so like on the side.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So this one says undo, and you turn it
Oh,
that
I found
way.
it.
So I would
Do
do
not hit the body. But yeah, but you're
It was. It is.
gonna have to hit it a lot more than that.
Maybe
Move
go
it, maybe.
against
You're
this
not.
and push.
You're choked up really high on that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I thought. So hold it. First, touch it to that. And don't hit this body.
Yeah.
And just do a really slow swing and then bigger swings. Okay. And beat the shit out. That's the trick,
Yeah. I can see it turning from there.
right? So that's how it works.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
if you were to do it the other way, would you just
To tighten it. Yep.
Okay. Oh, I see. You hit it from the top there. That's what I said.
Yep.
That's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's the old style. That's what Isabel's car has on it too.
Oh, the one we're doing right now.
Yep. Except
Is
hers
that
has
helping you
this setup.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Oh,
So
so
you
you
count on that.
Yes. That helps.
Instead of the
I mean-
wings, I guess you could call them.
Right.
So-
So there was this guy, and he was a real, what would you say? He didn't do wrestling. And he watched a movie and he got scared. And so he went to the Congress and said, hey, you guys, these knockoffs with the ears on them are scary because they can chop people up.
Was that actually the reason?
And then the Congress said, okay, we'll ban them. And so they banned,
Practice the feet from a different angle.
The manufacturing of them.
yeah, so, well, the new cars couldn't come with them anymore.
Could you still drive that around with those?
Yes.
Okay.
You- and you can buy replacement ones, but
You
no
just
new
can't,
newer cars could come with them.
Yeah, they're no longer being built.
It's like the
Right.
same reason why we ban the import of cars that are not 25 years or older, i.e. JDM cars, because the U.S. government is afraid of fast cars.
So then this guy also saw
Your JDM.
So I'm thinking about the other foot. Where's the
switches. So old cars used to have
other?
switches that were kind of pokey, a little protuberant. They used to have switches like this on the
I mean,
dash.
like compressed air just
We have compressed air.
it would make a huge mess.
Switches on the dash, like if you
Oh,
turn the
oh,
wipers
Unless
oh,
you
on.
had
yeah,
like
like
paper
a-
towel here to catch it.
Yeah, like
And
across
those
the
switches
top,
would be along
yeah.
the dash, and you'd flick them.
And
Up
kind of
and
like
down.
an airplane. Where they like really go along.
Yeah, those are called toggle switches because they have this toggle sticking out. Yeah, like an airplane. That's exactly right. So this guy saw those switches and got very scared that somebody was going to impale their forehead on the switches. And so, likewise, he went to Congress and said, "This is dangerous. People could impale themselves on these
Let's do
toggles."
blends instead.
So, if you look at that dashboard of that car, it has the newer style, which is a rocker style switch.
What's up?
A rocker is just
Oh, I see.
two surfaces at an angle to each other, and you press on them alternatively.
Press on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's literally like a light switch.
Basically, yeah.
Some light switches.
Correct.
I've got ones in my house that are like the ones that the angle.
Yeah.
Which way you press it, turns the light on and off.
So that guy was a total dweeb, and he messed up switches and knockoffs.
Light switches used to be a button on the top and a button on the bottom.
Oh,
Oh, so you push one and the other push
in
out.
houses?
Yep.
Wow.
You push one, it would go on. Push the other one, it would go off.
Huh. That's cool.
You've never seen that? You've never seen that?
I can't think of that, no. So this guy went around sticking his nose in designer's business and making the world a safer place.
Well,
But that's not as fun.
The world is not fun to say.
So no ear knockoffs or toggle switches for us anymore. I think the movie he saw was Death Race 2000. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I think somebody like put knives on their knockoff and they went around and they hit pedestrians or something.
Oh.
And they assigned some number of points for the different types of pedestrians that you could murder.
Uh-huh.
I didn't ever see the movie, but that understood to be the premise.
Speed bump point system. Ornaments plus 100 points.
It was sort of like that. There's a video game for that. What's that called?
Grand Theft Auto?
Burn to Die. It's like a zombie
Oh.
movie or a video game. Remember Oscar would play that? He'd level up these little cars, and it was after the
The
apocalypse.
zombie one? Yeah. I remember that, but I can't remember its name.
Fallout was a good.
Burn to Die sounds right, but I don't know.
Burn to Die, yeah. So you get money for every zombie that you kill.
Yeah.
I think I already remember. There's a couple different ones we played.
This seems so close.
Any luck in that thing? Oh wow, you gotten quite a lot done.
I got straight, and then I'm just trying to pull it out.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
get it
cool.
out here, but I'm trying to.
Well, what about if you stick a hook in there and rotate the hook?
That would work.
I have the hooks.
One of these. You stick it down the top and
more hooks.
stick it through and rotate it. Huh. Maybe they won't come until very late at night.
Or maybe Mom's chatting.
Moms are chatting? Oh, you think that
No.
she's actually upstairs and there's chatting
No,
going on?
she says that my dad's getting me, but he's getting Thai food right now.
He's getting Thai food?
Yeah.
Where do you get that from?
Buy.
The Baiton? That's in Issaquah or Bellevue. Those are the only two
I
locations.
don't know.
There's one in South Center.
Oh, there's one in South Center
One
too?
in Denver.
Baiton?
Near
Yeah,
the Goodwill.
Have you tried Din Tai Fung?
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Although I will say that the
So that's interesting.
idiot. Although there are cheaper dumpling houses if you go to the international district and risk getting mugged by a meth head on the side of the street.
Getting clubbed.
Yeah, or clubbed by some guy with a.
That's exciting. Look, one of these is a bolt, and one of them is not the same kind of bolt.
So someone they have.
Two different types of bolts.
I accidentally just forced the wing down. I was trying to get the screwdriver wedged in between there, so that I could pry against it and force the. This, yeah.
The plan is I don't even know. It might be the. I want to say it's the one.
I tried to use the liquid pipe out, but that one's maybe too wide. Much.
This is a smaller hook.
90 degree or
You guys give a towel. I could do it.
you good?
Well, apple leg. Oh, no, I remember this enough. I don't know about the second leg either.
Yeah, I don't know where that one is. It's in the
I think I
wood.
can see it. But, or,
See, if you feel like working on cars, this MG is going to be done in August, but if
Oh, so it's over the summer.
this one is, then we're driving to Arizona.
Oh, this. Okay.
This
I
guy,
could probably help over the summer.
this guy is the one that we're doing after.
Okay.
Are you guys working on the bluey type after the MGB?
Yeah, I think so. Let's go ahead over there,
Okay.
and I'm just going to be really gentle. Just stick one hand right here. Just the other.
okay, so I don't know if you can see in there.
Yeah.
but there's the original foot coming out, and then the other foot, I think you can see it. It's
Like this.
Oh, I see.
there, overshadow. Can you see?
It's kind of it's like down there somewhere, past the other one.
These are the carburetors.
Yeah, that might
You
be
take care. And the cylinders, the explosions all happen inside there.
So this is a 12.
It is. Oh yeah, you should be here when we build that M3B engine.
I would like to whenever that is, preferably it's a lot easier. Maybe
Well, we have to get the parts back from the machine shop. So
how long is that gonna take?
Probably a month.
Oh, gosh. Over the summer.
Yeah.
It's one of the ideas I was thinking about.
I might feel
a second
it.
job.
Do it. Then you can run methanol. Yeah, that would be sick.
I could run E85.
E85 would be good. My dad goes on a rant about E85 because he used to be in the film industry. And so
Because he doesn't like it.
yeah, he doesn't listen to it.
That is it's called a pedal box. And the bolt that goes through the top is a pivot
The
for the
pedals.
pedal.
Okay.
When
Oh,
you
yeah,
press on the brake,
I guess it is in line.
Yeah.
And this.
That is a vacuum accumulator tank that stores extra vacuum. Like when you press the brakes and it gives a little vacuum boost assist. That stores extra vacuum so you can have power brakes and your car shut off or maybe
There's
10
a smaller.
presses.
Oh,
Have you driven and you felt how the brake is easy to push when the car's
And you just
really
told
stiff?
why you cry.
Oh yeah.
no, this
So that tank.
I've done that before when I was try and press the button. It goes easy the first time, and then it's like,
Correct. That's as that vacuum tank
does it run
loses
that?
its vacuum.
Or it's having been.
Correct.
This is a vacuum.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So hold right here.
there was.
I have to-
I think I got the foot up.
Yeah, that's true.
These are fake cars. So.
Alright.
Oh, wow.
You're right about that.
Can I take a look?
Mhm.
That's cool. And what are
That
these
had like
wheels?
this. Very nice.
Those are for a Jag. I'm putting together this differential right here because I've got a whole bunch of space taken up right now.
Oh yeah, you did.
And once I
The,
finish this, then I gotta go put it underneath that car out there
Oh.
that's up in the air. I just have to
Right
reset.
there right now.
Outside, it's on jack stands.
You can hold it there.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I need to finish assembling this rear end and then I can fold the wheels on it, roll it outside, and stick it up underneath that car and lower the car. Because right now my neighbors probably aren't very happy that there's a car up on blocks in my driveway there.
Why is that?
Just because it looks crappy.
No. I think it's like taking up space. Is that what they're?
No, it doesn't look good to have a car on blocks. It should be on wheels.
Oh, I see. Like it's inviting
Yeah,
unwanted attention.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, we haven't had any unwanted attention, but what can I get you?
Surprisingly, yeah. Living in this part of Renton, I always have like a block up there I don't want to go by.
Right.
Or else it's like I'm looking for trouble at that point.
Are there certain blocks around here like that?
Oh yes. After living around here, you will know where and where not to go. The general rule of thumb is that way is good. Downtown Renton is bad. Don't ever go near downtown Renton alone.
Especially don't go to high school in downtown, right?
Yeah, don't go to Renton High School.
My
You're asking to get like.
my mom, she had her car broke down. She had to go to the O'Reillys or the Schwab on MLK Way
Really?
by herself at night.
Oh,
Oh
No
no!
way.
No!
She didn't even call me. She told me when she got back. I was like, why do not call me?
Don't worry, that'll all be fine after July 1st.
What's happening then?
Well, all of those problems will be magically solved by preventing me from purchasing 30-round magazines.
Oh, that part. Yep.
Yeah, my mom has her carry permit, but she doesn't have a gun. I'm like, it's literally doing you nothing. It's a paperweight.
Actually, that's kind of a liability, I think, even.
Those are XL nitriles.
I think if you've had
wow. Okay.
a CCW unit, the concealed carry, and you actually don't even own a firearm, somehow I think that's a liability because you're licensing yourself, which then could be used against you in a court of law because it's saying that you potentially have possession of something that you don't even have or own.
Well, I mean,
So where is it?
I mean, we do have a.
Oh, so like you lost a gun.
Well, I understand your situation, so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pistol.
Right, which she purchased or whatever. But ultimately, if something were to go wrong and she ended up in court for whatever reason, and they're looking at her going, okay, well, why do you have a concealed weapons permit if you don't even own a weapon?
I lost my guns in a boating accident.
Well, but you know what I mean? It looks...
Yeah, I see that.
That looks odd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm in this situation now.
Oh.
Alright, that's all it's on.
You.
They're up there.
Made it.
See you guys.
Oh, see you, bro.
See it.
Bye, Ryan. Thanks for helping.
Where did the paper towels go?
I'm gonna rotate this.
Right there under the smoking sign.
Aha.
Where it does smoking.
Got it. Oh wait, I actually have to.
I wish there was a hole like on the top of the side.
Actually, have to beat this downwards. Just like one tap.
That way that tap.
That's good. I have to.
I found these very advantageous as well.
That's what we used. But
You get it?
Yeah, I'm free of that scenario. On to the next scenario.
oh wait, so close. I just need like one more hit and then it's level, and then I can pull it straight out.
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's level. Okay.
Oh.
I wonder if did the other ones do that with the other fires with the like the teeth?
Oh,
You know?
these ones right here.
Yeah.
These might be if I can reach in there.
You might want to go up.
Oh, from the top.
Oh no, I was just saying. I don't know. You figure it out. Yeah. I might be able to grab from the side.
So I actually had to smash. So on the back end, it's got that loop, right? I had to smash that thing flat in order to be able to get it out the hole. I had to turn it sideways, so it's like this. I had to turn it up and then squish it flat, and then reach in there and grab it and pull it out.
God, why? Okay, well we can.
I didn't miss it.
Are you trying to get it flat?
No. Give me.
You may not have to do that. You might be able to get that hook in the loop and pull it out.
That's what we're trying to do, but you have to.
I had my hook in there and it was not happening. That was not gonna work for this one.
Yeah.
I'm pushing from the other side as well. Almost. Can you use these teeth? I'm pushing from this side so it doesn't scoot back here.
Okay. And then how would you like me? We'd go from the top.
I'd say just one.
Um,
It's fine. Okay.
I could try using a pick and pulling it.
Okay.
I'm gonna rotate it actually first to get the pick in here. Actually, can I tilt it my way just for a second? Wait, actually. Oh, it's so close.
I feel like that tip is only going to work if it comes around again. You know, like if it bends and everything.
Actually, I can get it out.
Oh. Let me see if there's another kind of pliers that we can use right here.
They like need small needle nose pliers. The smallest you have.
This.
Yes, that's it. Perfect.
Oh, what about these ones?
Oh, I almost got it.
These are bent.
I just have to rotate it flat and then squish it. That is what we are going to have to do. 'Cause I can pull it out with these. It's just too wide.
No.
Whoa, you did it!
I mean, it fits.
I was going to say, when you've had enough, you should invite Tammy over and we'll have some awesome soup that Wifey made.
Mm.
But now you've actually done it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have it.
Oh, that was close.
So, Isabel, did you see this part here? It's called the spindle.
They're pretty close on theirs.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe we'll take a
Theoretically.
break after
Yeah, unless we break the cotter pin.
this
would
time.
be even better. Then just pull it out.
That is true.
That was one of my options, was to stick a screwdriver in between the loop and smack it with a hammer and break it in half or push it down.
Oh, yeah.
The other option was to grab it with the beefiest set of needle nose that you can fit in there and twist it up until it just comes out.
Oh, smart.
Because it doesn't have to go out the hole, just because the hole's there. That doesn't.
Oh.
I'm gonna try these
Yeah,
small.
try
What
that.
the heck is that?
Oh, wait, it's actually
Bearing. Look at the back side of
it's gonna
this.
slip.
It's
These
sealed,
demonstrations on
stuff.
them, but
of course.
What?
It rides on this. And then there's a seal that goes here that's in the back side of that hub.
There's a felt seal on the back here?
Here,
Rubber seal.
rubber.
Okay, so
okay.
the preload on the inner race of this bearing bears down on this and
Wait, is
holds
that
it in
So just
place, and then the seal rides on the outside of that.
Correct.
Okay.
In that case, we can
And I just dropped the
push
bearing,
it.
which doesn't technically matter. Oh, the washer.
And if this spins, it's no big deal, but it
Right.
won't, which is
Right, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. So that piece will be reused, the bearings will be replaced, and maybe the rotor, and certainly the hub. They're a little thin. We'll see what we can do for new rotors. I think
drilled and slotted.
drilled and slotted. Well,
we can drill them.
yeah, they might get warmer in Arizona. I guess it depends how many mountains you're going to be going in and out of.
Maybe an upgraded cooling system might be.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the cooling system, because if she goes to Phoenix and has to fight traffic, that's the problem these old cars have, is they don't like traffic.
Yeah, and they overheat
So-
a ton.
So pull that.
I mean, E85 would be nice because that also burns cooler
Well,
as
just-
well.
Oh,
Pull the fan belt off and put an electric fan on it.
that's probably a good idea.
I mean, you're going to upgrade the charging system to a 12 volt from a 6 volt, right?
It's already 12 volt.
Okay.
But yeah,
And you could do fans on the radiator as well.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah. You can
putting
do one or
electric
two
fans on
yeah,
there
depending on how many.
to upgrade the amount of air coming through.
And
you
then
do
could
get better performance.
You could do a hood scoop and then vents in the back to push air up and out on the top of the engine. You could either do a top mount intercooler. Well, actually, no, you don't even need.
Radiator.
Yeah, you could do a top mount, front mount. You could do a V mount with the like that you do on race cars for your radiator up top, or your intercooler, and then your coolant system or brakes, whatever. And you can do vents to the brakes or piping to the brakes from the front of the bumper.
Right.
They have that on my car where I could get rid of the fog lights and use
Okay.
that to route.
So
break.
close.
But I like having the fog. I like having the fog lights, especially for a street car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
really nice
definitely
here in
helpful
October.
around here.
In October.
Although
it's-
my
very
headlights are pretty bright now, so I don't really need the fog lights that much anymore. They just
Wow.
illuminate to the sides. They don't illuminate.
Yeah, that's where you gotta squish that.
So, what I had to do was turn that thing and squish that head, that bulb more. So turn it this way
Mm-hmm.
and then squish it so that that eye is actually flat so that it can fit through the hole because it doesn't want to. And then I took this guy
It looks like it should.
and I grabbed right here and I pushed it through.
Doing a brake job on this car would not be fun.
Right. I'm
You have to-
surprised it's that difficult to get out. I wonder. Well, Jake, do you think once we've had it out now, is the old grease or some other cause making it worse?
No, it's just a pain in the rear.
Maybe
That's
we
all there
can
is to it.
modify it to a different system.
Well, there's a possibility that the new hubs have more provision for accessing that car.
Or drill a larger hole to get to the car.
Or two. Or I mean, one.
Or just chop it right there. I mean, these rotors are pretty
But
good.
that is not the case.
Nope.
Nope, they're the same. Just one hole.
Is that whole big? No.
Do you think you could have a machine shop drill or board out larger? Maybe
You
by
could, but I don't know that you want a larger hole with that.
Right. I mean, we have the possibility or the ability to do that here, but as to whether we want to drill more holes in that thing or larger holes is the question.
What would be the down?
What would be the downside, you guys?
structural integrity.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's your wheel. If this breaks off, your wheel goes down the road. That doesn't sound like fun.
Depends on how much exciting driving we're going to be performing in this small 75 horsepower car.
That's about right, yep.
Unless you strip the back seats out in single battery and make it as light as possible, like a half fuel tank. That actually might be a really nice power to weight ratio.
Well, that
Could be.
take that fan off. That's gonna reduce stuff.
Yeah, that will help. I like that plan.
I still think that this isn't one of the hole. A little bit. Needs to go down.
Oh, it's so close. Oh.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I can...
Oh wow.
Oh, I got it.
Wow, you guys are serious.
Thank you.
Holy moly.
Jesus. Look at that thing.
I just need to get a lot. It's like a molar.
I wonder if you could replace it with like a screw or something.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like a one.
Set screw? Yeah, maybe.
That would be. I mean, you could probably drill on that bolt.
It's hard. It should not be hard to rotate that.
Need some spray?
Well, there should be plenty of lubricant in there, I guess. No, we gotta put it in the vise. Isa, pop that out of the vise, will you? So you can put that one in. That thing should not be full tight like so.
Are we gonna bend these back?
Yes, right. There's an entry in the spreadsheet for that reformation process.
You can maybe even drill these out right here for more cooling. So that way you have the drilled rotors and then the cooling right here. Instead of having the air.
Well, you tell me.
Structural rigidity. Sometimes
Ding,
they do,
winner.
Sometimes they do those. So you don't have to have thicker material. They can just bend the material.
Sorry. Yeah.
Jake, do you guys want soup? Do you want me to invite Tammy over?
Let me go see what she has going on.
Okay.
First.
You get that?
Yeah, just pull it off.
Soup sounds good.
There you go.
Ooh.
I'm interested.
There goes the bearings.
Your dad did that too.
I did.
Almost the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's probably in the same place. Must be genetic.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, that's
Well, he's half of it, right?
Yep, and there's a bearing underneath there.
Underwood.
Right down from my finger. Wow, cool. Yeah, changing brake rotors, that would be a real trick.
I have not seen it.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta reach your hand in the spider
charge a shop to do a brake job on this car.
Yeah, it's definitely
Wait, where?
worse.
It'd be like
Yeah, that's probably
$2,000 for a brake job, and then they wouldn't even be able to get through it. Like I actually cursed too hard to work on.
Well,
Here
that's
it is in pieces.
that's what took the other differential like this off the road was I had to rebuild the calipers.
I know your 6-month brake job.
There it is. That was my 6-month brake job. That was insanity. Great.
Wow.
A bearing and a washer with a tooth there.
Oh, with a whole bunch of other.
Yeah, it fell down by the drill press.
Oh, look at that. With the boys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I will go ask.
Cool.
So that gets both
I'm
of
going
those
to say that
forward.
there's probably a pretty good potential that we will join you and bring what she had going on as well.
Cool. Double trouble. Okay, so that's awesome.
Super awesome.
And then don't lose these things, the seal track. Does it have a seal track in it? Where's the seal track? Is it in the back of the hub? Oh, right here. So this thing goes down on there, like that. Now what we need to do is determine if these spindles are acceptable to reuse. And what we'll do for that is the inner races of the bearings, which are this little cone thing that fell down by the drill press. This actually rides on that spindle, and it needs to be relatively tight. Now, over time, these tend to loosen up. They ingrain themselves into the side of the spindle, and they will wear away the underside of the spindle. And if you look at the spindle, you'll sometimes find a groove that you can catch your finger in, where that race has borne up into the bottom of it. And in that case, you have to replace the spindle.
Yeah, this is the piece that locks the bearing,
Correct.
and the tolerance is
That keeps the nut from rotating as the car goes down
What's
the
the
road.
other
yeah
one?
right here has
Oh,
a
it's
little.
inside, you
It has
just
a
take it
notch.
off.
So you need to, first of all, clean off this spindle, and then make sure that the spindle doesn't have any wear on it or grooves that are
And this
significant.
notch looks very important too. That
Right.
base angle should be 90 degrees to
Well-
prevent this from.
As long as it doesn't rotate, that's sufficient. That's all it's there to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when you tighten the nut down, you set the preload on those conical bearings. If that nut unscrews by itself, then the bearings will all become loose. Those are tapered roller bearings, and they get their preload from how much you tension the nut. So you set the bearing clearance with that nut, and then put the cotter pin in at the correct level of clearance.
You should look at roller rifles.
Oh, really? Is it similar?
Yeah, they use 2 bearings, one on each side in the receiver,
Oh, wow.
and for their lockup.
Mrs. Muo's giggling.
Oh, I just got a call to Oscar. He's helping Joey pick up the beehive. But then
Really?
Yeah, and he had just texted that he got stung a couple times, so he went and got in the car.
Who got stung?
And left Joey. I said,
Do they not have bee suits? Or are they just like-
Apparently Joey went with full, like, long pants and long sleeves and a hat, but Oscar went with shorts and, like a muscle shirt.
How is
White
that?
bee
How
shirt?
is that when he's like wearing long pants to school and stuff?
Anyway, well, he's not in school, so anyway, so he's sad right now sitting in the car. It was really cute. I said, you could just go take some pictures from afar. Joey asked you because he needs you to help him. I said, maybe see if there's any, I think there are gloves in the car. And he said, okay, I'll look. And then Joey sent a text saying, send pics of the stings. Because apparently one of them was flying around Joey at first. And then it just chased Oscar, stung Oscar. And then he said another one. And whoever they're buying the honeybees from, they're,
Not
the
domesticated.
other person is, had some stuff to put on it. Oh, they put hand sanitizer on it. They said use hand sanitizer, that makes it stop
Stop what?
hurting.
He's
Oh,
Put rubbing
Always-
alcohol on your wound and it won't hurt after it stops
It makes
stinging?
the sting stop.
Mm.
Oscar said it hurt. It felt better for just about a second.
Oh, maybe it solubilizes the oils that are the stinging oils.
yeah. Who knows? I mean, for the honeybees, after they sting once, they die, so you don't have to worry about those ones again.
I told Jake he could invite Tammy over and we'd all have soup because we just got some stuff taken
Yeah,
apart.
he says he was running over there. I don't have a lot of extra stuff to go with it. I mean, I have peppers. I cut up a bunch of celery and I have hummus, but I don't have we have bread, but
he said that she would probably bring over whatever she was trying to make.
yeah, we've done that before. So.
Yes.
Okay, and I got one of the benches cleared out,
Thank you. That's
and now I
awesome.
made kind of a mess on your bed.
That's fine.
That's fine. We needed to figure out. Well, I can help you disposition some of that stuff. if it
I'm gonna
needs
talk about
assistance.
water.
Okay.
So I think we're probably ready to.
I found the.
Well, maybe we can clean these tools, and then maybe we'll be getting ready for dinner.
Okay. And then come back down and work some more. There's so much grease on these bearings. Grease on this side.
Okay.
Or maybe it's because I'm not applying enough
That's
pressure, or
not
because I'm wearing
bad.
gloves. There's a machine right
Yeah.
there. Nice present to my finger. Because I know when you do bearings, you typically want them coated pretty
Oh yeah.
well because they have friction and they heat up.
You do something called packing, which disperses the grease throughout all the interstitial spaces.
of the bearing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that process requires a special tool to flow the grease in there, and we'll do that once we get closer to that.
I definitely want to build the engine and do the bearings on that.
Okay.
That's fun. So I've never built an engine before, and it sounds very fun.
It will be fun. All right, so if you take a look at this, as this, let's say this is fixed to the subframe, and then as the car goes up and down on the road, you've got this bolt that pinches through, but why is this hole egged out? What's going on there? What caused that?
Some hitting an abrupt object, like a pothole or a curb, maybe.
So you've got two mechanisms. You've got force and you've got time.
So the wheel would have to have been locked out all the way for this to occur.
This turns like this.
Okay. So it would have been an upward force then. Or a up and to the right.
Okay.
So
upward and outward.
Yeah. So a pothole or speed bump, curb, something raised or lowered that would allow this entire assembly to jump. When there's a
So that's not a regular hole. That's kind of a weird hole. What's weird about it?
that's almost rectangular. And it was bored out by the threads.
Okay.
Screw. As you can see, the metal peeled back.
Yes.
And the screw is not. It's not the same width all the way down. There's a slight taper right here.
Okay.
That you can barely see.
I can see that. So what does that tell you?
That this impact was very hard, and that part of the screw on this side was sheared off.
I don't like that answer. Usually when you hit something hard enough to cause this level of damage in a single shot, you're going to have some serious bending or breakage of parts. So what's another choice?
Small, constant.
Yep.
Of the same wear pattern or
Yep.
same impact.
Yep.
On a part constantly every single time. So maybe a driveway pulling into the driveway each time.
So what about
It's on this side as well?
if we turn this screw into a malevolent actor in this system, and we cause this screw to become a cutting tool?
This would have to be moving very rapidly.
As it does when the car goes over bumps. And what else do we need to do to the screw to turn it into a cutting tool?
Have pressure against
Okay.
and have rotational force.
Have rotation. So how do you get rotation in that screw, which is not supposed to rotate like this?
Hitting something.
How do we get that screw to continually rotate like it's doing now with suspension travel? Because you saw the assembly that we're going to replace this with. It was a bushing, and then the screw went through that. And on the outside of that bushing, there's a bronze bearing bushing that this rides in.
Also the bearing. Something happened to the bearing on this side.
And
And with part of the bearing disassembled or broken, it allowed the screw to have travel.
we need to get that screw to become like a file. To file away at this.
So it was canted.
Like this. If we push down with the spring, remember the spring's pressing on this through those bolts? It's pressing down hard. So that's providing the force that we need to egg out this hole. And then we just need to scratch the hole over and over again as the suspension moves up and down.
So it's a natural process of the car then.
Right.
Driving.
And the precipitating factor that caused that one to be fine and this one to be damaged with the egged out hole, we need to turn this screw from something that's fixed and not moving, not rotating, to a screw that begins to rotate as this goes up and down. A little bit of rotation, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and turn it into an abrasive cutting tool, like a rotary file, like one of these, right? If we had one of these in there, we turned it back and forth, it would scratch that just ever so slightly, but over every single undulation in the road. And the spring is going to provide that pressure and press down, which is going to drive the screw hard up into the A-arm. So how do we get the screw to stop? To rotate like it's rotating right now, it's fixed to this kingpin. How do we make the screw so that it rotates with the kingpin instead of being fixed and stuck to the A-arm? So on this other A-arm assembly that came off fine, we don't have any of that wear. The screw didn't rotate with respect to the A-arm. The screw rotated, or the kingpin rotated, with the screw not moving.
So it could also maybe be the rubber.
This is all brass inside here.
Okay.
Because it takes all the load of the spring to hold the car up off the ground. So how do we get that screw to all of a sudden fix itself to this? Or shall I say, what mechanism is present to prevent the screw from sticking to
Bearings.
the bushing that's in there? Yeah.
So maybe something with the bearings.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we removed the section here, and we could separate this side if we remove these screws?
We could do that. Yeah, we could definitely remove that and see what's going on inside there. What's this?
Grease or oil.
It's a grease fitting.
Grease fitting.
And so what's the purpose of that?
To fill this with grease.
Right.
So they didn't fill this with the grease.
They did not. And the screw seized inside and seized that whole bearing assembly. That whole bushing, bronze bushing set. And once that screw seized,
that's what caused this.
That initiated the filing action.
So that could have been done with heat then? Is that how it would happen? Or friction?
Right. So that screw just scratched back and forth 1,000,000 times, and every time cutting a little bit into this A-arm itself. So the fix for this would have been, don't let it get dry. Don't let that part go without adequate greasing. Because as it moves back and forth, the grease gets displaced and it goes away.
Yeah.
And it comes out here and it collects road grime and it becomes a nasty caked gooey mess. So when you go to a like, what are those places, Valvoline, that change the oil on your car? They're called lube and oil.
Yeah.
That lube is to lubricate the points of the chassis that flex back and forth, or that rotate back and forth with these bearings or bushings. And so that's what those guys are supposed to do.
And they didn't with this. If the guy took it to that place, if he changed the oil himself.
Right. And
do that.
they exist to make money, obviously, but at the same time, they do perform a valuable function, which is lubricate those areas of the chassis that require that. Or this kind of shenanigan happens, and you have to, well, this is just going to be thrown away. We'll save this inner part, because we need that.
We could keep this, but we can keep this.
Well, I don't know that this side's any better. I mean, I can't see under the head of the screw, but I don't know. Oh, no, it moves, right?
Yep, so this whole
thing goes away.
And maybe even here too, because they shoved the washer inside there, and that could have.
We'll have to look. One thing I noticed on this, and I'm not actually sure if it's the case or not, but to me that looks like it might not be perfectly straight. And if it's not, then we'll get a new one. But this is something that would definitely be damaged if you hit something with the wheel. Because, let's say the wheel was out here, and you hit something like that, you're going to bend these flanges because they're bolted here, so these portions stick out and they can rotate under extreme force. So if you hit a curb or something, potentially bend that. So this would be a normal replacement part, or something to at least measure and consider.
Or this whole assembly, depending on how bad.
Right, so this is the kingpin. This is going to get replaced. It slides, or the this thing called the knuckle, or the vertical link, slides down on top of that, and there are wear points here that have to be finely machined in that other portion in this.
For your brake assembly and everything.
So this guy has, you can see these bronze bushings in here. So we're gonna, I greased, I put a little grease in there. We're gonna drift those bronze bushings out, and we're going to replace them with new ones, and then the machine shop is gonna ream them to the correct size to fit the new kingpin. So that takes care of that plate.
And that's definitely grease in there.
Sure.
Or grit or oil, something that is maybe not supposed to be on threads.
It's okay. I mean, the whole thing is greasy mess, and it's happy like that,
Yeah, and it'll be cleaned up.
like a sloppy pig.
Do you think that adding relief cuts here would be beneficial for cooling? Or
I don't know,
would
maybe.
it be in the middle to allow the structural integrity of this to not be compromised?
I definitely want to think about the integrity of that plate, and having those variations in the surface height causes it to be stiffer. You're exactly right. So
It's like the rib on a magazine.
yeah, very much
So
so.
they have them dimpled in.
Mm-hmm. Now that becomes an issue when you're breaking off of a mountain. Let's say you're losing a couple thousand feet, and you're doing a lot of turning and using the brakes. Then you'd notice brake fade as they overheat as you get toward the bottom. So
Yeah. So maybe the cooling, because if you just drill the rotors, there's only maybe a millimeter
Mhm.
of area under here that the brakes, and not here either. You can notice there's
Right.
a wear pattern here. So the
Oh,
brakes.
is it hitting? Oh, wow! Look at that. Yeah.
So maybe relief from here
Mm-hmm.
to there. Take that out to prevent the rubbing here, because then it will overheat this part too. But since you only have a millimeter of clearance here, you're not getting much airflow on the underside of the rotor, so it's still heat, and you'd only be preventing heat from about half of it. So it'd heat up the other half again, and you would have it, and that could maybe cause warping or something. Maybe that's what you're seeing here, is when the caliper is not sufficiently cooled, it starts to warp, and that's what's causing the rubbing right now.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, I think it's dinner time.
Feel the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to figure out how to provide sufficient cooling for the
Mm-hmm.
rotors.